What's happening? Facebook Live, Tuesday night, coming at you every Tuesday night. Tonight we are talking crypto, Bitcoin, blockchain, Coinbase, Binance, all good things related to cryptocurrency. And I'm also going to talk about myths related to mobile apps, developing mobile apps, what businesses think when they talk about apps. But to start off, let's talk some crypto. I know there's a lot of people out there that I've followed lately on Facebook that are so-called crypto experts. So I started putting out a bunch of questions. And what I found is nobody knows their ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to crypto. Nobody knows what they're talking about. I get a lot of messages from people that are asking me, like they're basically spamming me. I don't know what their end game is like, hey, what do you want to know about crypto? So anyways, I'm going to talk about a few things that I've learned about crypto, blockchain, Bitcoin in the last few months. So for me, I'm not one of these guys that made a lot of money. I'm not an expert of any kind. I just read a few books and I've done a bunch of research. And I actually got certified with some development because I'm a developer. So I took some courses and got certified in like blockchain development. So it means I know a few things, but not a lot. But having said that, I probably know 95, like out of 100 people, I probably know more than 95% of them, if not more. And so the reason what I did is the first thing I did is I started looking around on, I heard this thing, it was called Bitcoin mining. And I heard people were making money Bitcoin mining. So I started like researching it and looking around. And then that kind of led me into cryptocurrency and then what's called crypto assets. So I'll just tell you probably right off the bat, if you want some really good advice, I would tell you to read this book right here, Cryptoassets by Chris Berniski and Jack Tater. I don't know what you say. But anyways, this book, it's legit. It's by McGraw-Hill, which means it's essentially a textbook. And I mean, this thing is like, it's like 300 pages. So it's a pretty good read though. So this book is based on Benjamin Graham wrote a book probably in the 40s or 50s called The Intelligent Investor. And it's all about investing in the stock market and all the different kinds of assets and things that you can invest in, bonds, stocks, etc. So these guys basically wrote a book under the same guidelines of like, first, there's 3 parts of the book, okay? The first part is what a Bitcoin is, what the blockchain is, and it really breaks down the biggest difference that you need to know is that there are a lot of different like cryptocurrencies out there, or they're not currencies. Like Bitcoin is a currency, and then like Ethereum is a network that the currency runs on. So it's a crypto asset, as they call it. So anyways, first part of this book is all about kind of what's going on with the blockchain and a little bit of history, but not a lot, and just kind of like what the different things are out there that you're actually investing in. Because some of these things you're investing in, like everybody knows about Bitcoin and they go, well, what's it based on? It's not, it's a currency, who knows what the hell it is. But like Ethereum, Ripple, XLM, these are cryptocurrency. They're on the crypto exchanges, but what they ultimately are the network. So for instance, Ripple is basically think of your bank. Your bank does a wire transfer, say your Wells Fargo does a wire transfer from Wells Fargo to pay me, Bank of America. It's a large sum of money, right? You would wire me the money. And that transaction takes like 3 days to go through. So what Ripple is it's a blockchain network that basically does that exact same thing. It sends money from one location to the other. And all the people that are investing in it right now are banks. Bank of America, American Express, all these big companies are investing in that technology. Because you see when a bank transfers money, when Bank of America transfers money to Wells Fargo, it doesn't go straight there. It actually stops in the middle of the clearinghouse, and then the clearinghouse moves it on to the next person. And the banks have to pay a fee for that clearinghouse. So they want to get rid of the fee. So that's Ripple. And that's what they say, a blockchain technology that money is being transferred on. Some of them transfer pure crypto assets. Some of them will end up transferring cash. This one's bank to bank. So, it's institution to institution. There's another one out there called, I think it's Stellar. Same exact thing, but it's just for peer-to-peer transactions, like if I want to send you money. So these are some of the things that you'll learn about kind of in the first part of this book. And then the second part of this book gets into how to actually value these things. So if you're thinking about actually putting some of your money into any kind of crypto, and I know now it's probably like everybody's, oh, it's crashing. Well, probably be a good time to buy, assuming the asset is a solid asset, right? So you need to do some research. Like I said, read the book. It'll point you into a really good direction as far as, what to look for when you're doing like research on these things. And even if you never do research on them, like you definitely need to learn this stuff, because the world's changing. This stuff's not going away. A lot of people in the early days of the internet thought that email wasn't going to be around for very long, right? So this stuff's not going away. It's coming. Educate yourself, and don't be a fool, because whether you invest in it now or later or never, you definitely need to know what it is. The other thing about this is, so then the third part of this book is kind of all about the different ways to actually get into the game and how people are investing now. And if I had one takeaway to give you from this book, Cryptoassets, it would be that they're basically, it's pretty smart actually. They're saying that you should have, if you have a portfolio of investments, so say you have, $100,000 invested, you should probably have 10 to 15% in these crypto assets. Are they high risk? Absolutely. Will they maybe tank? They could. Will they go? But if they go through the roof, they go through the roof. So 10% of the investments you're making, right? Put them in crypto. That's what they're basically getting at in this book. It's a really well done book, though. It's not like fly by night a bunch of people. They actually created a really good guide to what it is and how to invest in it. So that's Cryptoassets. Grab a copy. Like I said, it's a little bit like a textbook. It's not the easiest read in the world. The next book that you can get into that'll help you out, especially if you're in business, so this is a little bit more beyond, this is The Business Blockchain by William Mongayar. Don't know who this guy is. But anyways, this book is more about actually what the blockchain is and how it's being used in different industries, how it's disrupting different industries. If you're a tech person right now, or you know what a database is, I mean, it's an interesting thing. Like blockchain basically is the same thing that a database is. It's just like it's got a really better record keeping system. So you can't like right now, I could just probably go into any business if I had access to the database and add a record into the database and, pay myself, and no one would know where it came from. Blockchain, you actually have to have a series of records in there. So this one's good. So if you are looking to get serious, not get serious, but just learn something new, this is a good one. What's a blockchain? Trust. It talks about trust and all the different things that go along with that. Decentralization. Anyways, it's kind of a lot of stuff to get your head around, but it's definitely worth the read. It'll also help you if you're like depending on what business you're in, like say you're in like insurance, like how these things are going to start coming around. Like cloud computing, that term, cloud computing, like that's a big term the last few years. It's basically all it meant was somebody was taking a computer server with data on it, and instead of actually having, well, that's what they would say. They'd say, instead of having this computer, you can store it on the cloud. But it turns out there had to be computers somewhere storing something. The cloud doesn't actually store data. It's an idea behind it all, is that your information, you don't need a central machine. It's like out on the web. So it's like Apple. If you lose your phone and then you get another phone and you plug it in, all your information's there, your photos are stored, assuming you backed it up to the cloud. So very similar with what the blockchain is doing and databases. So it's basically, it's a replacement for the database, but in a way that makes transactions, people can follow the transactions from their beginning to the end. One of the examples you hear a lot of times with blockchain is people are talking about like a grocery store item, like an avocado. The guy's got an avocado farm. He picks all the avocados. Every individual avocado would have a record on the blockchain. They'd know where it was picked from. They'd know what truck it came in because it gets scanned, right? So they'd know what truck it was on. They would know if it sat in a warehouse for 2 weeks, then it went on another truck, and then it went to Trader Joe's. This is the kind of like tracking they're talking about now with blockchain technology. So again, kind of wrapping it all up, crypto assets, right? Two types. Actually, there's probably more than two, but there's kind of the coins and the currency that you hear about, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and then there's the other stuff like Ethereum, which is actually the network that it runs on. And the network that it runs on is all based on blockchain. Like I said, I'm no expert, but I've read 2 books. It gives me some sort of credibility in this world. Anyways, get out there and read, folks. Cool. So I've been getting a lot of, the other thing that people have been asking me is how to like invest in crypto. And again, I'm really just a beginner, so I'm going to give you what I did. And I went on and I bought Bitcoin through a website called Coinbase. Mark Kamal, what's up, dude? You got an algorithm to figure out crypto? Good to see you, man. So anyways, so what I did is I went on to Coinbase and I just bought some Bitcoin. Like, I think I bought $500 worth. And it was like sitting there and I was like, well, it's at like 12,000, which means it's got to go to 24,000 for me to actually double my money, which doesn't seem too reasonable or likely. So I started hearing about all these other crypto assets. And actually, let me look up this site right now. I'm looking up crypto prices. Coinmarketcap.com is the site you want to go to. Coinmarketcap.com. And if you go to that site, it lists at least 100 of these different cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Cardano, Litecoin, Stellar. How's Stellar today? Okay, so, and it'll just show you, you know, all the coins that are out there and how they're doing. And so when I started going down this rabbit hole, I was like, my friend was like, you got to buy this XML stock, which is crypto. So I didn't even know what it was, but so I go on to Coinbase. Well, on Coinbase, there's only 4 things you can buy. There's Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. I don't know. Anyways, there's 4. There's only 4 you can buy, Bitcoin Cash. So I was like, well, how do I even buy this other one? He goes, oh, well, you got to get a Binance account. So Binance is another service. So basically it works like this. You set up a Coinbase account and you buy Bitcoin. And then you set up a Binance account. And then what you do is you transfer money from your Coinbase account to your Binance account. But you don't actually transfer money, you transfer a Bitcoin. And then once your Bitcoin is in Binance, then you can buy all these other coins. And so that's what I did. And so I went over there and just for the record, what I did is I didn't take all that much money. It was like maybe $800. And I basically just bought all these like penny stocks. I bought the XLM, and that's been doing really well, or it was until like a few days ago. And so I just figured all these coins and cryptos that were under like $3 I would buy. And so I bought like a couple $100 of each one. So my theory is I'm going to just buy the ones that are all really cheap priced. Did a tiny bit of research at the time. I didn't really even know what I was doing, and just bought them. I'm going to hold them. If I figure, why not? I'm just rolling the dice. If one of those things goes up to, you know, $100, couple $100, I'm a millionaire. You know, who knows? So that's what I'm doing. The ones, and then what ended up happening is after I bought them, is when I actually started reading these books over here and doing the research. And I lucked out on a couple of the ones I bought. They were actually like really strong as far as what the product is, who's the people behind them and things like that. But the other two were just freaking trash. Like seriously, like you can start a coin right now. You could probably get people to buy it if you're really good at like sales and getting people involved. So that's crypto. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't know a lot, but I know enough to be dangerous at this point in time. If you want to know more information, you can contact me. I mean, everything I basically have just told you now, I could tell you a little bit more, but I'm still learning it myself. So, you know, always learning, trying to get new stuff out there to you, to be helpful to you. Again, the name of the show is To App or Not to App. Kind of went off topic tonight and just wanted to talk about crypto and some of the stuff I've been learning. I hope that you're learning something as well. Like whatever it is, you know, don't sit around and think that, you know, you're done with college or your job is just so easy you don't need to learn anymore. The world's changing pretty damn fast right now. And you need to learn new skills. You need to learn about new things. You need to learn just so you're interested in a damn party on a Friday night. You know, that's that. So the podcast is going well. I got some good guests coming up. I interviewed a girl named Jennifer, a woman named Jennifer Allwood yesterday. She has a successful, very, very successful business in the do-it-yourself category, DIY category. And talking to her tomorrow on the podcast, so that'll be out. And then a number of really interesting people in the mix coming through. Let's talk about some apps, myths about mobile apps. Derek Mertz, there is a guy I haven't heard from in 25 years. What's up, Mertz? How you doing, buddy? That's one of the things I actually love about Facebook. You know, like a lot of people don't like Facebook. They talk shit about Facebook and whatnot. But, you know, like I ran into a guy the other night that I haven't seen in 20 years in person. And I walked by and I saw him. I was walking down the street and he was sitting in a sushi restaurant. I went in and I said hello to him with my buddy. And it was like, it was great. And I was like, dude, I've been seeing your kids. He's like, oh, you've been up to this? I've been up to that. Yeah, man. How you doing? So it's always good to see what people have been up to in the past, from your past. Okay. So myths about mobile apps. Myths. I have a hard time saying that. Number one, a lot of people, a lot of companies, these are company things. These are how companies are dealing with mobile apps these days. We can simply push our existing desktop application to mobile devices. Don't do that. Okay? If you have an existing website and you're making money on it and you think all you got to do is put it on a mobile app, you're wasting your time. You need to give somebody something of value, something extra. For God's sakes, a mobile app can determine your location. It can listen to your heartbeat, your heart rate or whatever, and all you're going to do is give people the same old stuff you've been giving them? Come on, man. You're better than that. So myth number one, you can push your existing stuff there. No. You need to come up with something better than that. Myth number two, here's what companies tell me all the time. We just want to mobilize one part. We just want to do this one part. The other stuff, we'll do that later. No. Dikembe Mutombo. No. Mobilize everything. Here's the thing, like every company I go to has really old legacy stuff. And so some of the people are smart and they say, well, we got to get out of this legacy thing. We got to pay money now. We got to bite the bullet now so that we can advance. That's a good approach. The other people are sitting there going, we have this existing tech. We're just going to do this part. And then next year we'll do this part and this part. Well, guess what? In 3 years, you're further behind than you were. So bite the bullet and get out of your slump. Move your technology along. Did you know, if you're even checking your stats on your website, that your social posts, your emails, over 75% of your traffic right now is from mobile. People are hitting you from a phone. So get in the game, man. Myth number three, our current software vendor will mobilize versions of our app. So a lot of people are on Salesforce, right? Oh, Salesforce, they're going to mobilize. They're going to fix my problem, right? Come on. I mean, they might fix part of the problem, but they're not going to fix all the problem, you know? So relying on a third party to do your business is kind of lame. Here's a myth. We can build our own mobile apps internally. Well, that's like 15% of the companies out there can actually do that and do it well. It really comes down to, you know, you have an existing team, so you're going to have to probably hire more of a team. And think about how your company runs now, like how your, just in general, how your IT runs. Like, are they meeting their deadlines? Are they delivering? Are they overperforming? Are they driving the company? Like, are they leading? Because like a lot of the places I've worked at over my 25-year career as a developer, like half of the places, the developers didn't even get the work they were going to say they were going to get work done in a 2-week period, and then they wouldn't even get it done. And so they're behind. And then that puts the whole project behind. And so, and all of these companies I worked with, they had this like laissez-faire attitude of like, if we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. Which, man, that's bullshit. Like, you need to have some accountability in your life. Like, even all the people out there that aren't software engineers and everything, like, if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. If I ask you to do something, you say, well, I'm going to fix it. When? Like, don't tell me you're going to fix it. Tell me when you're going to fix it, and then deliver it on that time. So if you think your mobile team can do it, or your internal team can build a mobile app right now, go for it. But I mean, I'm going to tell you, just look at your team. Be honest with yourself. If they're not able to deliver what's currently out there, you need to go outside your organization, hire a third party. This guy right here. I'm really good at what I do. My team is freaking incredible, by the way. Last myth. Mobility isn't really critical to our business. Name it right now. Name a business that mobile is not important to. There ain't one. And there's so many out there right now that haven't even done anything from a mobile perspective. I was walking through, I was actually at Chipotle the other day, and I was walking through, and there was a piece of paper sitting on the table that someone had left behind, and it was like a roofer, and it was a like what was on a clipboard, the job, the name, the person's name, the customer's signature. Really though? Like, come on. That guy should have an app, you know, and he lost it. He actually came back when I was eating and grabbed it. Luckily, he remembered. If he doesn't remember, that's gone. What the hell is he going to do? He's going to go and fake a report when he gets back to the office. So, I mean, name me an industry that mobile hasn't affected. So if you are in a business, whatever your business is, if you're an employee, dude, mobile is the lifeblood. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have a strategy, if you're not spending money and investing in mobile right now, cool. I mean, you're going to be like AOL. Remember AOL? And those CDs, they ain't around no more. Well, maybe they are, but it's like minuscule compared to what it was. So anyways, those are the 5 myths. Let's read them again. That you can basically take your existing desktop application and put it to mobile. No, you need to do better than that. We're just going to mobilize a few processes at the business. No, man, do them all. The software vendor we currently have they'll develop a mobile application. No. We can build our own app internally. No, you can't. And mobile isn't really critical to our business. Oh, it's critical. So anyways, those are the 5 myths. Crypto, hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Share it with your friends. I'm here every Tuesday night talking apps to app or not to app. Glad you joined me. Hope you enjoyed the show. Get in touch with me. If you have an idea for an app, I can help you out. Good night.